welcome to the live. And every time you become more aware of yourself, beautiful things happen, right? You get to explore more, you get to have more fun. Hold on, let me look at the things that are happening. I was typing on the screen. Money out of thin air. I want some snacks from DoorDash, LOL. Well, tune into... Hi, Patrick. Tune into I have the most wonderful things. I'm always receiving money. I'm always receiving snacks. It's so easy for me to receive money, put yourself in the state of like already having the snacks. But really, I think that this is speaking to like an underlying thing of just like, why don't you just assume you always have more than you need, right? Because if you keep kind of doing it piecemeal like this, where it's like having to do it like again and again and again, that's great for building up your confidence in recognizing like your ability. But like, what if we adjust the whole underlying thing, right? This way you don't have to keep like stressing yourself out in the moment and then just being like, I always have it. So gorgeous. Oh my gosh, thank you. I put a scarf on so that I don't get flagged by the TikTok body police again. What does it mean to be in a state? So a state, what is a state? A state of being, a state of awareness, a state you are standing in. To state something, a sentence. Being in a state is just, you are always in a state of something, right? Are you in the state of confusion? Are you in a state of clarity? Are you in a state of knowing you already have everything you desire, right? So being in the state would just mean you have the awareness that you already have what you want, or that you always get what you want, etc. So then you can like kind of reverse engineer it a little bit and observe within yourself, like, okay, I'm the me that already has this thing. So how am I feeling right now? Well, how I'm feeling is exactly how I'm feeling right now, because I am the one that has it. And the me that has, you know, whatever it is you're manifesting, I'm still gonna like go through the full range of human emotions anyway, right? I think that that's something that people sometimes hold against themselves, is like if they're having like a day where they're not feeling as like chipper, they're then like, oh no, it means I'm not in the state. It's like you're standing in the shoes of the person who has the thing, and you're witnessing sadness move through you. That's okay. No one's gonna come to you and be like, you're feeling sad. Oh, you don't have it. Sorry, I guess you should have like kept being high vibe and super happy all the time. Haha. No one's doing that, right? You're the one that decides. So you can have your full experience and then just be like, I'm always the person who has this thing, right? That is kind of one of the things, one of the states that is always on then. So basically put your attention on it. Yeah, I mean, in a sense, like, it doesn't have to always be your attention on it, right? Because like you could be out living your life having the most fun ever, and you're like, your general state of being is the one that always receives what you want, right? But your actual attention might not be on like the whatever it is that you're choosing to experience, right? You might be in any kind of mental experience. In fact, it's like I've noticed a lot of times it's like when people like go play and their attention is completely not on what they had been fixating on before. Because rather what happens is you stop fixating on the presence or lack of it, and you just go have fun and you're in joy, and then like everything moves. This isn't to say that that's always the case, right? But also, like, let's look at it. Like, there's infinite iterations of reality. So there's realities where you focused on it completely and got it. There's realities where you didn't focus on it at all and got it. There's realities where you hyperfixated. There's realities where you completely forgot that it existed. There's reality and you still got it, right? So it's like any of this like anxiety or stress or tension you're putting on yourself about like having to think in the right way, and like if I just say it in the right way, it'll appear to me, but if I don't have the magical code cracked, then I'm not gonna get my goodies. like it's missing the point entirely, which is that you are the selector, you're the creator, and you get to experience what you choose. How to change experiencing my desires that appear but always just out of reach. Stop affirming that they're always just out of reach, you silly biscuit. You're the one doing that. You're like, that's like, what kind of torment of Tantalus is that, where you're like, oh, I always see the grapes, but I can never reach them, and when I reach for the waters, it recedes from my hand. Yikes. Let's not do that to ourselves. You are not being punished. You just get to tell a better story of whatever I want comes to me easily. Whatever I want comes right to me. It's super fun. I always stop myself affirming me and SP are in the most perfect relationship because I don't get how like it will conform to that from what it is now. What will affirming fully change in my 3D without me doing anything? Because it's what you're experiencing is your consciousness, your conscious selection. So if your consciousness is that of, when I choose it, I get to experience it. When you become aware that the only reason you were experiencing the other thing is because you had a conscious or unconscious, you had a story about it, right? Somewhere in your being was an expectation that was the majority, just meaning like a little over half, right? Just the slightly more powerful thing to tip the scales to be that is the image that rendered. Now, you're like, oh, I don't like what we did here. I do not like what we did here on this day. I am not pleased with the way that this is perceived by me. So now you're doing the opposite, essentially, in being like, okay, well, not really the opposite, but you're noticing, okay, well, this is how I created that before. It's like, I had a story that he had something going on with his ex, and that's his focus was taken up by his family, and that his family was like going through a lot of problems. And then that's exactly what I experienced because I was so right, right? And it's like, yeah, you selected that, you expected that, and you witnessed it. Congratulations, you experienced the manifestation of the consciousness that you were being. You experienced the manifestation of the consciousness you were attuned to. There's infinite consciousness available, right? So in the awareness that you didn't enjoy that story, you're now choosing a new story to be consciously aware of. And as you become conscious of it, it renders in the third dimension. It's internal first, and then it becomes external. If you want the perfect relationship, state that you have the perfect relationship, and then anything, if one person needs to move, if 10 million people need to move, it'll move. If a thought in someone's mind needs to move, it'll move. It's you are the selector. So in choosing that reality, then everything forms from that, or rather you can think of it like you internally adjust, and then externally, because you would turn the dial inside, everything else turned however many degrees to match that. What's on the board in the back? It says, I create as I speak, and then last night I just felt like drawing a tree with some bluebirds, and then it says tree. And then I was thinking about the structure of letters and how they're like sound vectors through the body. I'll explain that at some point. But like trees root the energy. Like they're literally, the structure of the word kind of tells the story of what it is. Why do I always feel like I'm being monitored, like I'm trying to earn approval? Probably because of how you were raised. You probably experienced some shit growing up, and now you get to either continue agreeing with it as a way to run your life, or disagree with it and just choose to parent yourself internally differently. Instead of like, why do I always feel like I'm, because you probably know, because you were monitored. So now choose, how do I want to feel? Who do I want to be being? Who am I right now? I am safe. I am loved. I'm valued. I'm cherished. I'm not being monitored by anyone but me. I'm over monitoring myself. Every time I go have an interaction, I'm in my head being like, oh, don't smile too much, or like smile just enough, or don't appear unfriendly. And then I leave and I'm exhausted. So it's like, You're constantly monitoring yourself. You learned to monitor yourself, and now you're like, why? Why do I feel like I'm constantly having to earn approval? And it's like, well, you learned it somewhere. Now you can unlearn it and just know that you always have your own approval. Start out manifesting my SP, but started focusing on me so much I don't even want him anymore. And that's the beauty of it. And here's the thing. Anyone who is manifesting a specific person, you are the specific person. You're the specific person you're manifesting. Like, focus on yourself. Focus on feeling so good and radiant and knowing that you're the person that you get all the things. Things just come to you. You are beautiful, phenomenal, fantastic. And this is not a thing of like, oh, I'm better than people. This is like, no, I'm just wonderful and I get wonderful things. And then everything falls into place. It's just when people have a lack of faith that your external world changes and reflects your internal world, that like there's this like grasping habit. The more you focus on you, though, the better things feel. And then if you have a conscious thought come up about any person, thinking of it from the like most loving, joyful consciousness that you can, right? Of like, oh wow, they're thriving and doing wonderful. They're coming with a surprise, something, just whatever feels good for you. And I also think it's funny when people like start focusing on themselves and they increase the self-concept and then they realize they don't even want that person. And I would posit that you didn't actually want them in the first place either. There was some aspect that was being reflected within you that you really loved. And so you were clinging on to that, but maybe it wasn't like the full thing, and then as you nourish yourself more, you're like, oh my God, I see more now. I see the full picture. Even though I created the version of him I didn't like, the idea of him just doesn't excite me anymore. And that happens, right? Because again, reality is infinite. So it's like not being so clung on to the idea of just because I created something doesn't mean I have to fixate on it. I can just witness it as, again, it's just like any thought passing your field of like, oh, I appreciate this and I don't appreciate that. It's like you learning more about what you love, learning more about yourself. And realizing like, wow, I get to be with like the perfect person for me. My person is so perfect for me. My husband loves me unconditionally. My husband loves me no matter what, no matter how I show up. He loves hearing me speak. He wants to spend time with me, etc. Is that normal? Yeah, that's absolutely normal. Absolutely normal. To the point where I laughed because I was like, yep, that does happen. I think that there's like a sometimes because people realize like, oh, well, there's infinite versions of people, so I could just select the version of this person that's whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, what's the most joyful thing for you? If the most joyful thing is letting it go and being like, no, I'll just manifest someone like else, or I'll just like tune into the reality where I have this perfect partner. And when I'm being honest with myself, I already knew exactly where it wasn't that person, right? It's all just you playing games with yourself anyway, right? Reflecting through millions of eyes. So it's like, really, when do you feel the most you? When do you feel the most at peace? When do you feel the most in joy? And there's no like right or wrong way of doing it. There's just simply experiencing. So what do you want? So do I need to go through all the beliefs I may have about him or just affirm us back together? Can you be clear within yourself of what's the story you've been telling about him, but also about you? Like, what is it that you expect to be true about yourself and about people in your life? Like, what do you think is true about men in your life? Like, oh, men are always disloyal, or like men never show up on time, or I'm never chosen. Like, what was it, the underlying thing? You don't have to do like a soul excavation, right? You don't have to like pull out your archaeology gear and be like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Because the thing is, the more you perpetuate the story of like, I'm in a healthy, happy relationship, you're naturally going to flesh that out and detail it within your being anyway, right? I'm in a healthy, happy relationship. We communicate so easily. If you notice a story continually popping up of like, but he said this and he did that, then you can observe it specifically and being like, okay, and what did I make that mean about me? I made it mean that I wasn't worthy of love. Oh, yikes. Okay, cool. And also that wasn't the first time. It wasn't the first time that occurred to me in this interaction with this person. It actually like occurred to me many, many years ago. And then I've been repeating that pattern over and over again. So I'm choosing to witness, okay, I made it up because my dad yelled at me when I was a child. And I thought that meant that I didn't deserve love. Okay, cool. I can now observe that memory and see, oh, a man yelling at a child does not mean that the child doesn't deserve love. That means that the man was overwhelmed and hadn't learned how to deal with his own big feelings, right? And because he didn't know how to deal with his feelings, he didn't teach me how to deal with mine. So now, you being however old you are, experiencing what you're experiencing, feeling feelings come up and not knowing what to do with them, makes sense. Also, you can affirm, I know exactly what to do. I'm really great at communicating. I know what to do with my feelings. I know how to navigate relationships really well. This is the best relationship I've ever been in. Like, tell the story in that way. But the thing is, like, choose of like, how do I feel internally when I'm in my perfect relationship? I feel peaceful. I feel really peaceful. I'm not worried about being screamed at. I'm not worried about being misinterpreted because I know that like we're going to communicate clearly. We're going to like, love each other enough to have that dialogue. How do I select a new story and persist in it? Same way you selected the old story and persisted in it. Basically, you heard something that sounded good one day and then you repeated it, right? Maybe your grandma said to you of like, oh, men can't be trusted. Oh, your grandfather's always doing this thing. And it was like, what, a dumb little thing in the kitchen. But, oh, men just can't be trusted. And then you were like, okay, grandma, I believe you because you're old. And then so you walk around, go to school the next day, see a little boy doing something a little bit silly. And you're like, reinforcement. See, men can't be trusted. Then you ignore all the times that the men and boys in your life are doing things that aren't untrustworthy or that aren't silly or that are like very kind, but it doesn't reinforce that story. So you're just like, oh, cool. Well, whatever. No data input. Something else comes up. Maybe they forget to pack a sandwich. You say, oh, men can't be trusted. Okay. So that's how you reinforced and persisted in that story, was basically just the things that you witnessed and reinforced it with yourself. So now you get to choose your new story of like, well, what do I want to experience? I want to experience how wonderful the men in my life are. Great. So start saying like, I have wonderful men in my life. I have really great men in my life. And being like, what would that look like even? Oh, I guess like, someone brought me a lemonade. Oh, that's so nice. Wow, wonderful. So it's like that kind of thing you get. That's so cool. Was that about the letter thing? Well, thank you for the heart me, Andrea. Andrea. I love phoenixes. Because you have to earn things in this life. Don't be a narcissism. Yeah, guys, don't be a narcissism. That would be really unfortunate for you. Just kidding. Actually, I don't subscribe to that whole thing because it's like so many people are getting called narcissists when it's like you didn't understand what was underlying their behavior. Your lack of connection, that you just diagnose someone as a narcissist without actually understanding what that means. It's preposterous. And it just like also comes from a fundamental lack of remembering everyone's you, right? Oh, why would a person be behaving this way in this situation? And then someone's like, well, because they're an asshole. Nope, that's a diagnosis of them. That is inaccurate. Why would someone be behaving that way? Why would someone be screaming in public? Oh, because they're dysregulated, scared probably. It's presenting as anger, but anger is only ever the guard dog for fear, right? And sadness, right? Someone screaming, why would they be screaming? Well, because they don't feel heard. Oh, okay, cool. I can have a lot more compassion now for that and recognizing like, oh, bud, you're overwhelmed. Not to be pitying or a dick to them, but just like every time I see someone like acting that way, now I'm just like, aw, bud, you get to learn. You talk a lot of facts. Thanks, baby. Imagine like thinking you have to earn things in this life. Like what kind of an existence would you have, right? Instead of being raised in a society where your needs are taken care of, everyone works together to feed each other, to care for each other, to make sure everyone is sheltered and taken care of. No, you have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Nothing is given to you in this life. Oh, actually, really? Because I'm pretty sure that you're born and you're immediately like put on your mom's chest generally. Or if you're not fed with milk, you're fed with formula. Pretty sure that like humans immediately cannot exist outside of the womb for the first however many months without extreme support. So how did that baby earn that? They just existed? Okay, cool. And then sometimes, of course, there's an illness that was running through a parent that made them not care for that child, but that's not what we're talking about right now, is it? I love it. I'm so done with it. I'm glad you're done with it. That's awesome. That means that you are feeling a lot better within yourself, right? Okay, perfect. I find myself as I affirm going, damn, it's almost been a year apart, nothing has changed. I feel like crazy affirming we're together when we haven't spoken in ages. Well, you keep affirming that you haven't spoken in ages and that you're not together. How do you feel in connection with this person when you're together? And have you been holding yourself back from feeling that way until you're together with that person again? Where are you holding yourself back from yourself? Where are you not letting yourself feel love, joy, and pleasure in this now moment? Because you think that this person is separate from you. They're not. But where are you holding yourself back from love right now? Because maybe you feel like you don't deserve it, or you feel like, oh, there's no way I could feel that good again until I'm with this person. And I'm not saying this is for you specifically, but sometimes what gets revealed is that it's not even the person that you wanted. It's just you wanted to feel that feeling again. So give it to yourself now. Let yourself feel that goodness now, that happiness, that joy now, that joie de vivre, right? It's not held back from you, but you might be holding back from yourself. Repetition is key. Anything can be a key if you say it's a key. Repetition is what you're naturally doing anyway, though. So are you aware of what you're repeating day in and day out? You wake up and you're like, oh, I don't have it again. Oh, gotta go to work that I don't even like again. Oh, my grandma's always like this, blah, 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 whatever. Like, that's what you're repeating now. So why don't you take some of those beautiful circuits in your little noggin and repeat patterns you actually enjoy of like, you know what? I can feel good in my body right now. I can just feel good in my body right now. I feel so good in my body right now. Yeah, actually, I just feel really good in general. Actually, I just feel really good instead of walking around being like, oh, I never feel good, right? Because that's repetition. Actually, I just feel really good. Actually, I feel good for no reason. Actually, I don't even need a reason to feel good. I can just feel good because I can feel. And if I can feel, then I can feel goodness. Also, can I manifest being able to fly to Croatia when I've used my 90 days in Europe? You can manifest anything. People do all the things all the time. Is it accurate when creators say you can affirm everything I eat makes me lose weight? It is accurate to say that, but also I wouldn't affirm that. Like everything I eat makes me lose weight, because then it's like, when are you going to stop having that be your rule, right? You could say like, everything I've been eating lately has made me lose weight to the point where it's like, I want my body to be what it is kind of thing. But maybe that's just my mind of like, I'm kind of like looking ahead where it's like, you just keep eating and losing weight. And it's like the diminished dumplings, the division dumplings in the Phantom Toll booth. where it's like the more you eat, the more hungry you get, because it just keeps dividing again and again. So yeah, you can say that. You can certainly say that. Or you could just like say like, I'm the perfect weight. My body has fat in all the places I want it and none of the places I don't. I'm the perfect weight for me. I love my body composition. I've got muscles in all the places I want, none of the places I don't. Or like whatever, you know, like, what I do like is, I think Ellie, she's like, oh, calories don't count. Calories don't count for me. I like that one. You can just say like, the water always carries the fat away. Something like that too. Like, the fat just like flew right off my body. The fat just walks away, if you know Doctor Who. Everything I eat gives me my ideal weight. Do you personally feel really good with your subconscious? I feel like I'm trying to rewire minds. I do now. There was, like, where I started from was intense chronic pain, nerve pain, muscle damage, depression, anxiety, and repeated like ruminating scary thoughts. So it's like I did the repetition and relaxation work to select my reality as far as like, my mind is really good. I have really good thoughts. I'm feeling really good. Everything gets easier and easier. And then it's just a matter of like being that person. And I also did witness, because that was 8 years ago, in the in-between, like there was a little while, like maybe like 4 years ago, where I had started repeating some old stories and I saw them start to play out. So I got to like nip that in the bud and be like, oh, we're not doing that, right? So it's very much like a matter of like, you keep telling the story that you're living. If you start telling another story, an old story, falling into an old pattern, the pattern I'd fallen into was the belief that I needed to help someone. Like, oh, they needed my help so much, right? That was the story that was being told all around them. And I like walked into that. I just got flagged on TikTok for that cleavage that was there. Stupid. How I manifest. You're already experiencing the manifestation of your consciousness. Everything I eat gives me my ideal weight. Yeah, no matter what I eat, my body is perfect. My body's absolutely perfect. Because what was it? If you are actually observing, like, what's the thing? Like, oh, if I eat that bread, I'm going to get fat. That's the spell you're casting with it. Have you ever seen someone actually not contradict themselves and still take a while to manifest? No. No. Like, you're contradicting yourself somewhere. Like, and this isn't to say like, oh, you're doing something wrong. I think it's just more about like becoming more and more aware of yourself. Because if you're like really, really honest and clear with yourself of what you've been doing, and then also like sometimes it's like when you actually like receive your thing and you get to like witness how everything unfolded, it's going to make sense. But if you just know that you have it and you're going through your life and you're trusting that it's all happening and all leading you, okay, let's say that you are, don't look, okay, this is, that was not the point of what I said. Don't look back and be like, how was I contradicting myself? Just be in this now moment and move forward from here. And you feel like you were killing it. Continue saying you're killing it. Look at it like everything you've been doing has been absolutely correct. Don't go back and start telling the story I was doing something wrong, because then you're spending a now moment looking at what you were doing wrong. What I'm saying is, in this moment now, walk forward and don't contradict yourself. And be clear about where you are. Like that can look like affirming, if you affirming, and then when you're done affirming, being like, but it's not here yet, so I have to affirm later. Oh, well, I have to affirm later because I'm like trying to manifest this thing into my life, but it's not here yet, right? Yeah, just be like, I'm killing it. I'm always manifesting everything I desire super easily. In fact, I would look at it like, assume everything you've done is correct, that you already have it, and that nothing you do is wrong. You can't do it wrong, right? Even complaining, I would be like, even if I complain, it's fine. That's not to say like go all out and complain and like, you know, just generally like make yourself miserable. But if you happen to have a moment where you were like, oh man, I'm so frustrated with this thing, don't decree that set you back. Don't decree that restarted you. I heard someone say that at one point. They were like, oh my God, I complained and so it reset me to the beginning. And I was like, what kind of hellish game are you playing with yourself? No, that's not how it works. This is the now moment, baby. Nothing you've done has stopped you from getting what you want. But like, as far as the original question where you were like, have you ever seen someone actually not contradict themselves and it still take a while to manifest? I answer no, because it's like, I think usually it's like people are like, no, I have this thing, and then they get it. Even if it's like, what I want to explain a little bit is like, let's look at it this way. You're manifesting an SP or a job. Let's say actually that the SP in this one would be the hiring person, right? For the job. And you're like, I totally have this job. I have this job. I have this job. And then you get an email that says you don't have the job. And you're like, oh my God, I don't have the job. Oh my God, what did I do wrong? But you catch yourself and you say, no, I still have the job. That was actually just a mistake. That was a mistake. That was an error. They were wrong. Oh my God. Like, that's not a thing. And then every time it comes up in your being, you're just like, yeah, I start Monday. I'm so glad I start Monday. And then let's say Friday, you get an email and it's like, oh my gosh, we sent you the wrong email. We are so sorry. You actually start Monday, right? Now, even though the third dimensional projection you witnessed said you don't have it, and you for a second were like, oh my God, but then you remembered who the fuck you are and kept selecting like, no, I have it. It's fine. I have it. That was just an error, continuity error. And then went about your day, living your life. Like, no, they're going to send me the correction email. And then you got the correction email. So you could have looked at it like in any sort of way, but because you didn't contradict yourself in that moment, you did at first, right? You got it, but then you corrected and you were like, no, I have it. Instead of being like, well, I guess I don't have it. And I guess that's that. And it's just some things are out of my hands and all this stuff. But what happened on the other side that you weren't seeing was, you know, the person sent the wrong email to you and then went about their life. And then they're thinking about it like, oh, that's so weird that I didn't hear back from this person. And then they like 3 days later checked their outbox and they see that they sent you the sorry you did not get an email. And then they're like, oh, I fucked up. And then so they're all like, you know, because their boss is like, hey, have we heard from so-and-so? They're like, oh, I fucked up. So then they had to email you the good email. So that was all happening behind the scenes that you weren't even seeing, right? Because that's how that thing had to play out. Versus if you had been like, oh my God, I don't have it, and then stayed in that reality. Someone else was in here saying like, you know, I remember her in January coming in and being like, how do I revise this F to an A? And I was like, you already have the A. You have the A. They made a mistake. You have the A. And then she came in the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it, but she was like they changed my F to an A. And it was so funny because I remember her being in my DMs like, oh, my mom doesn't think it's possible. And I was like, you already have it. You already have it. So it's a matter of just like, you're the one telling the story. The story is not telling you what you are. You're telling it, right? She could have easily taken that F and just been like, okay, that's just what it is. It's just the F forever. And instead she was like, no, I got an A. I'm an A student. She said to me, she's like, I've always gotten A's. And I was like, well, you still did. Congrats. Like, you're still an A student. Like, that is the identity, right? Look at it this way too, of like witnessing that. How cool is it to witness that projection of reality and then be able to walk through it instead of like give up? How do you stop contradicting yourself? What does contradiction mean? Contra, against, and diction, speak. to speak against yourself. How do you stop speaking against yourself? You close your mouth. You stop speaking it out. In your brain, when you witness it come up, you do not take that thought and repeat it within yourself as if it's true. You witness it and you say, nope, you let it go. Because here, let's say like the thought comes up of like, you're never going to have this thing. Are you going to take that and like replay it and be like, oh my God, I'm never going to have this thing. Oh my God, it's right. I'm just like, I guess I'm cooked because random thought 204 just like popped into my head. Or are you going to be the person who observes that thought and lets it float by of being like, I already literally have it. I am all that is. I get to experience X, Y, and Z, you know? It's a matter of consistency and practice, right? You've been in a practice of contradicting yourself. Now you get to be in the practice of I declare and it is. As I create as I speak. I wrote this on the board. I create as I speak. That is what abracadabra means. Abracadabra. I create as I speak. Let's spell it out so you gain what you seek. That's part of the poem I wrote. Love how you said the spell there. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, because you're spelling it out. And let's look at spell too. It's like a spell is the spelling of a word, right? The word. You speak the word. I am the word. I am the life, right? I am love. I am joy. I am despair. Whatever it is, you're like, I am this in this moment, right? I am love. Perpetuate that. Spell. So the word, you cast the word, you send the word out. You send the word out and it becomes a spell of time. Come and sit for a spell. That's a saying you've heard, I'm sure. Come and sit for a spell of time. You're casting with your words a spell of time. I have everything I desire, right? And then you will get to witness that as it comes back to you, as what you cast gets reeled back in, right? The reel plays. I love wordplay. Hi, Jaleesa. An opinion-based question for you about an SP situation. May I explain the situation? No, you already have the person. You're in the perfect relationship with yourself first. You're in your perfect relationship with you. And internally, you've selected that you're in your perfect relationship externally, right? So you're already together. There is no detail, no intrigue, no situation that is different really than any other one. And there are already literally thousands and thousands and thousands of stories that are probably going to be more wild than anything that you would say. No offense. But I mean, like, if you have heard some of the stories of what people have revised or chosen again, or like, nothing would faze you. Just focus on the fact that you are feeling good right now. You're treating yourself well. You have it, right? Oh, I'm already with them. Cool. How am I treating myself? The me that exists right now is already the one that is in this like beautiful, wonderful relationship. Pay attention. What's going on? If you're immediately imagining arguing with this person, why? What's the point of that? What's the point of selecting a relationship that you have to fight in? That you're imagining arguments already. Take accountability. Where are you holding yourself back from your perfect relationship in who you're being? You already have them. You're together. What kind of relationship is it? Yeah, my opinion is that you're the creator, so just create well. That's my opinion. And you can take that all the way to the bank. The etymology lesson. Realizing I can decide my thoughts are in support of me. Thank you for this. It's very simple. It is very simple. It's just I am. I am in this moment, right? I was manifesting getting a certain grade and got the result very much off. I like persist still. Did you just hear the story I was telling you about the F2&A thing? I've been thinking about working with you one-on-one. Hi, Sally girl. It's been a minute since I have seen you. Yeah, my one-on-ones are available in the bio. Also, this week, Select Reality and the Healthy State program are on sale. Celebrating the 1 year of the Healthy State program. It's excellent. It now has 8 phenomenal audios. It's been very effective for people, and I'm just excited as that expands more. So if anyone has something where they want to choose their body as healthy, They want to learn how to relax deeply, relax your mind, relax your body, really train yourself to be that person who can simply relax and tune into my body's already perfect. That's all you need. Like, I made it to be comprehensive based off of my own experience. And when you do it, it's done, right? I also included one of the new audios I put in there is also a pep talk, as far as like, because I had a client come in that was like, I got your healthy state program, and like within a week I was able to like do all these things I hadn't been able to do. But then I went to a family party and then I started getting a bunch of symptoms coming back, and I was like, I got you exactly. Because why? If you're familiar, it's old patterns, right? Old patterns come up, patterns of not saying no to things, patterns of crossing your own boundaries, patterns of believing, whatever, the things the conditions that had created the illness in the first place. So remembering to come back to, my body is perfect, my mind is perfect. I can just say no to things. I don't have to go to this party if I don't want to. And if I do go, I can leave within an hour if I want to. Not because I'm unwell, but simply because I choose to. So I didn't hear the story. I joined too late. Just tell the story. You have the grade you want. You have your A. You got an A. It's a perfect A. Whatever needed to happen for it to become an A, it became an A. Can you do cross-eyed fish lips? Are you a weird fetish person? I think that's what that is. Whenever someone comes in and they're like, oh my God, can you do this thing for me? Can you hold up peace fingers and stick your tongue out? I'm like, you're doing something over there. Like, we're not playing this game. When going for a scan or talking to doctors about diagnosis, how do I stay stable and know? I'm in my head selecting, affirming, like, I'm perfectly healthy. I'm perfectly healthy. The results are really good. Am I doing it like continuously? Probably not, but I will repeat it like when I want to, right? So I'll be like, oh my God, the scans came out great. They have the best thing that they're telling me. They're telling me the best thing. And then if for some reason they told me something that wasn't in alignment with the story of my health that I was telling, I would just like still be in my head of being like, wow, I'm so healthy. It came back so perfectly. I'm so healthy, right? You tell your body, you do not, like, no one else gets to tell your body that it's not healthy. That's like a wild thing, is like a projection of consciousness that's then like waving their pen over you, being like, you are proclaimed unhealthy and you will never be healed. What an enchantment that you get to then be like, no, my cells know what to do. My cells are healthy. My cells know exactly how to repair. My DNA has all the instructions. I'm going to decrease stress on my system and I'm going to create the conditions for my body to heal as quickly as possible by not stressing myself out, by knowing that it's already healed. So if I remove that stress of the mental stress of what if I never heal? What if it's always this way? What if I'm chatter, conspiracy? If I remove that stress and I'm just like, no, my body's already perfect. My body heals so fast. My body knows what it's doing. I'm going to like, oh, I removed that stress. Like, that's not even going into my equation, right? How quickly do things happen for you? I feel like my subconscious won't believe me if I say my body is perfect. Why wouldn't it? Your subconscious is you. You and your subconscious are one. Do not make the subconscious a like separate thing. The subconscious is just a learning system, right? So you feed your subconscious, you tell your subconscious what to run. Your subconscious was just picking up data from your life, and so it's just been running habitual information. So now as you choose new programming, it gets fed into your subconscious. As you relax your body even more and you increase like pleasure, joy, and safety, it actually like shifts even faster. At least that's my experience. And it also makes a lot of sense if you think about it, because if you feel like you're under threat and you're stressed out, you can certainly manifest. People do all the time. People manifest under all sorts of circumstances. But I find that like, what if we just like relax ourselves as deeply as possible And then tell a story of like, yeah, you know what? My body's just super healthy. My body's super healthy. I'm just like so relaxed because my body is so healthy and I don't have to do anything. I don't have to get up and make myself do anything. I'm just laying here because I want to. What's the story you want, Sally? Tell me now, decree now. Who are you and what is your body like? You choose in the now moment. You do not choose from past moments, especially if it's not what you want. I have a clicker for that reason. I forget to affirm a lot. How can I make myself affirm more? Affirming is just thoughts. You're already thinking thoughts. So if you recognize that, oh, I've been thinking thoughts all day, which means I've been affirming something all day. I've been saying yes to something all day. I've been stating something all day. That's all just same words for the same thing, right? What have I been making firm in myself by like repetition? You've been thinking generally like, let's say 50 to 90,000 thoughts a day. Let's just say 60,000 thoughts a day. You haven't been consciously selecting them. So what were the unconscious autopilot thoughts that you were running, dear? Oh, walking about my day. Wow, this is stupid. This is dumb. I don't like where I'm living. Oh God, that cricket noise is driving me crazy. Nothing's ever working for me. And then at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I forgot to affirm all day. Nah, girl, you were affirming all day. You affirmed all freaking day. All day in, all day out, you were thinking thoughts and you were doing it unconsciously. So now, how do I consciously choose? Well, you make the decision to be conscious about what you're actually thinking, feeling, and doing, right? Love yourself enough to change your thoughts. Love yourself enough to recognize if I emit different thoughts, I experience a different reality. Feeling lustful right now, and you want advice on that. Okay, create something. What do you want to take and put that energy into? What's the most beautiful thing you can imagine? Right? You want to write a poem about it? A saucy little poem? Not in the chat, please. But on your own time? Or do you want to examine like, if I just breathe and I feel, what colors am I seeing? Oh, I'm seeing like reds and pinks and yellows. Oh, that's pretty. Cool, I'm going to make a painting and then put it on a painting. Congrats, you just took that creative energy, because that's what that is. Creative energy, and you made something beautiful. You're about to say that? I love that. Same wavelength. We're all on the same page here. Purple, I close my eyes and I see purple. Amazing. Put that energy into something. For example, go for a run or the gym. You can do that too. What does that mean? It just means you see purple. You can decide it means anything you want. Like, do you like the color? Also, it's like, I mean, you could, God, you can make up any definition for things. People could be like, oh, you're seeing purple. That means it's like third eye and crown stuff, which like, sure, maybe from a certain lens of perspective, that's true. There's infinite iterations of reality. Could just mean that spending more time with purple would be enjoyable for you. Purple is present with you. Play with purple. Make a painting. Far from a purple guy. Well, maybe you're holding yourself back from enjoying beautiful colors because of a stereotype. Maybe that gets to be looked at too, because it's just a color. And if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. Feeling a feeling I haven't felt attached to my old identity, but still persisting in doing my usual. Feeling a feeling I haven't felt attached to my old identity. It's still persisting into me. Stargirl, I'm not really sure what your meaning is here. Should I avoid mirrors when manifesting my looks, eye color, for example? You guys, how do you think, you could, or you could just look yourself dead in the eye and be like, I love my blue eyes. Wow, my eyes are so blue. They're so beautiful. I love how blue my eyes are. Wow, my skin is so clear. Do you have the ability to control your thoughts in that way? You certainly freaking do. Instead of believing what you're seeing externally, just remember, I'm giving the orders. If I say it, it will form from that. It does all the time. My eyes are so beautiful. Wow, I love the color of my eyes. My eyes are so beautiful. My eyes are so beautiful. My eyes are so beautiful. Cool. I love how beautiful my eyes are. People keep complimenting my eyes all the time. I love the color of my eyes. I love how beautiful I am. My skin is so perfect, right? My skin is so perfect. And this is also a great way to catch yourself of like, if you're looking, let's say you're manifesting clear skin and you look in the mirror and your skin is like, not, is that your invitation for you to immediately start beating yourself up? Are you going to be like, oh my God, it's so disgusting and like picking at it and all this stuff? Or are you going to be like, wow, my skin healed so fast. I knew exactly what to do. I treated my skin in the most beautiful, wonderful ways. I knew exactly what to do. I love that I just intuitively knew what to think and do. I love that I always know what to state. I love that everything I do is correct. Everything I do works for me. I was in a similar situation from the past and old feelings came up, but I'm still persisting, not sure why it has come up. It's uncomfortable. It's okay. It's okay if it came up. Don't make it mean something, right? You are all that is. You are the infinite having a singularity experience, like a little singular individuated perspective, but you still have access to all things. So you're going to witness emotions, you're going to witness all the range of feelings, but it doesn't change who you are at your core. It doesn't change the fact that you still have the thing that you say you have. It doesn't change that you are still the person you say you are. It's okay. You're the one who has the thing. I feel sadness and I still have, the money I manifested. I feel sadness and I still have my perfect relationship. Why? Because you're a person, Don't make them mutually exclusive. I remember hearing someone being like, oh, well, how do you still manifest money in your business when you're sad? And I'm like, what? Why would I have those linked? Why would I have those intrinsically tied together? That sounds like setting oneself up for something hellish, right? Like, oh, I can only make money when I'm feeling really good, right? And then on top of not feeling good, you're making up that, because you're not feeling good, that you're not going to make money. Let's not do that to ourselves. Say I have my manifestation and I get negative thoughts around it. My negative thoughts manifest. How would I get around that? Stop giving it permission to do that, right? It's like what you focus on is what grows. So what you put attention on is what grows. So let's say you have a fear come up, right? It's not so much that the fear just manifested. It's that you focused on it. You put your attention on it. You were afraid of it happening. Oh no, what if it happens? What if it happens? What if it happens? To the point where you had, images in your head imagining what would happen if it happened and being like, oh no, I skilled. Oh no, this is not what I wanted. A person who, and I will give a solid example. When I was manifesting, when I was practicing, I had a specific income goal I wanted to hit. And I was affirming for it. And I started being like, I have this thing. And I was going solid for 3 weeks. And then what happened was I got random charges and I went negative in a couple counts for the first time ever. And I was late on a bill because of it. And I was like, naturally, I freaked out. I cried. I went on a walk and I just like felt like an idiot. I cried. And then when I was done crying, I asked myself, I said, okay, now what? And I was like, well, now I still know what to do. I still know that this works. I still know how I selected my reality. And I also see how I selected the reality where this happened because I was so afraid of it happening for like years and years and years. I was terrified of this happening. So I was always like, I was pushing it away. But then at the end, I witnessed it happen and I was still myself. I still had me. And I was like, this really changes nothing. I still am excellent at making money. My business is booming. I still help people every single day. And like, I went back to immediately to, no, always works for me. I'm great at making money. Everything I do works for me. Every action I take is prosperous. And I'm like redefined of like, you know what it did was it allowed me to see like, oh, that's nothing. That happened. Okay, cool. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Doesn't mean I'm irresponsible. Just sometimes, it's an invitation for you to remember who you are. Because that was the thing I was afraid of because I thought it would mean that I was stupid and bad. And then it happened. And then I had the choice of either like beating myself up and feeling stupid or bad or like realizing like I'm neither of those things. So looking it in the face and just still maintaining my story. And then what happened was everything got resolved. It got resolved. It got resolved in 4 to 6 weeks. And still, if I had stayed in that state of, I'm so sad about this, I'm so stressed out about this, I would still be there. Or I would have gone back to an old pattern of like asking someone for money. I didn't want that. I wanted to go through with what I had been setting up and like running from for years, right? Which was stepping into the next level of being for me. So instead of defaulting to an old pattern that the old person would have done because I'd been maintaining it for 3 weeks already internally, I was like, no, I know how this works for me. This works for me really well. I'm really great at what I do. I help a lot of people. I'm glad for what I do. Like my work is very effective. I went through it. And now I also get to help other people walk through that as far as like, you don't change who you're being and who you've decided you are because of a shadow on a cave wall, right? Thanks, babe. Do you think ignoring negative thoughts or arguing with those thoughts causes friction? I think that arguing with the thought is pretending it has some sort of validity. You're acting like it's a person. It's not. It's a frequency of energy that by arguing with it, you're engaging with it and entangling it in yourself. So instead, you just turn your gaze. Let's say a thought comes up of like, you're stupid and everything you do sucks. Well, that's just not true. So I would turn my gaze and be like, everything's working for me so well, right? I'm not going to argue with it and be like, no, that's not true. How could you say that? How could you think that? Doesn't matter how you could think that. That thought exists. I don't have to be party to it. What do you do if old insecurities come up? You secure yourself. You maintain yourself. You treat yourself well. You don't use the insecurity as an excuse to fall into an old habit of thinking, being, and treating yourself. You secure yourself. You remember of like, okay, let's say an insecurity is like, oh my God, no one likes me. No one likes me. And that comes up and you recognize because you're going through your day, all of a sudden you feel like a little twisty in your gut and you're like, oh my God, what is that? And then you hear, no one likes me. And then it's like, okay, so the way that you respond now is different because you've done that shift within yourself of being the person you choose to be, right? So when you feel that twisty, you get to be like, oh my gosh, okay. That's not true for me. I can let that go. And then you breathe. And 9 out of 10 times, you'll probably, when you breathe and relax, you'll feel it like actually like release and move out of your body, right? Not always. But when you recognize like, oh, cool. Yeah, no, that's not true for me. Nobody likes you. That's absolutely not true. I like me, first of all. Bottom line, I like me. And other people get to reflect that. So just an example. Going to be in nature right now and advice for suggestions or walking meditation. I'd breathe and be with the trees. I'd connect with the trees, clear my mind, and like either you can put a hand on the tree and you can receive, you can ask to be shown something beautiful. You can also, if there's something you're wondering about, show the tree the information in your being and then receive that. That's fun. You just said you're going to connect with nature, and I love talking to trees, so it's all me anyway. It's just good conversation. Also, like, I think being in nature is really good, just clearing mind, and then whatever person or thought you're choosing to perpetuate, whatever person you're choosing to be, whatever thought you're choosing to like perpetuate, you can always like gently repeat that if you want to, enjoyably. I like affirming on my walks because it feels really good for me. Some people don't like affirming. I think thoughts anyway, so I'm gonna think the thoughts of my choosing. And then sometimes I like just dead silence and no thought, and then I'll like continue walking, and then if thoughts come up, it's going to be like my autopilot wonderful thoughts. Try to let negative thoughts pass, but as soon as I listen, I feel like they automatically reflect. Make a new story. That's just your story. You can choose that they don't manifest. My negative thoughts don't manifest. That fear comes up. Nope, that's not true for me anymore. Nope, that's not who I am anymore. It's just showing you who you've been being, and you've been being the person who believes that that's true, that happens so automatically. In fact, I would take that and say like, well, if that can happen automatically, it can happen automatically with my good thoughts too. And actually in your being like, you know what, I'm going to switch it. I'm actually going to switch it so that my good thoughts manifest automatically. Wow, I'm seeing how automatically the thoughts I don't like manifest. That's so awesome that I'm so powerful that can happen so immediately. That's so awesome. I'm doing that. I'm going to do it in the opposite direction now. Okay, cool. It's just you, babe. You're not being victimized by a thought, right? But you are like saying like, oh my God, I feel like it happens automatically. Cool. Use that to your advantage. Wow, that can happen automatically. That's just like a thought becoming a thing so fast. Oh my God, because I'm saying that it is. I'm going to apply this wherever I want it. Yeah, my pleasure. I'm in an episode of extreme chronic fatigue. Any door out? Yeah, go to sleep. Stop telling yourself that you're in an episode of extreme chronic fatigue, because then you're going to repeat that in your system. And like every time you feel slightly tired, you're going to like have that come up as like, an option for reality. Let's reframe this. I used a lot of energy and I'm just feeling peaceful now. I'm just going to rest so much. I'm actually going to just like luxuriate in peace right now. I'm going to lay down and just like sleep. I'm just going to sleep. I'm going to know that as I'm sleeping, beautiful things are happening for me. I'm going to rest here because that's my role right now, is just to rest. And as I'm resting, people are getting the ideas to do beautiful things for me, send me wonderful things. I'm getting the best opportunities. So I'm going to be so well rested, and then I'm going to receive those things. So really the only thing for me to do right now is rest, because so many things are moving for me externally anyway. So the only reason I'm actually feeling this way is because it is my time to rest, because I have all these good things coming. Well, that was a masterclass. Always, baby. That's how why old thoughts are often what manifests quickly, because it's your current state. Identity manifests, not random thoughts. I'm not gonna like make a definitive statement about like, is that why old thoughts are often what manifests quickly, because it's your current state. I don't think that there's any bearing on making this is why this happens when infinite iterations of reality exist. Because you could say, sure, that's true in the reality, it's true, and also it's not true in the realities, it's not true, right? Infinite means that sure is the case somewhere. But also you could be like, every third Wednesday when a child next door picks a dandelion, I receive an ice cream cone in a seemingly unrelated way. Sure, that's true in a reality somewhere. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is why it's like, oh, this is always this way, or that's always this way, or this is how it works. Infinite. It's infinite, guys. At the end of the day, it's just consciousness of like, I have this now. So thinking about thinking and thinking about why did this happen in this way, or is this actually how it works? Doesn't particularly matter. It's just what would feel good for me to experience right now. Well, then that's what I have, because I always receive the best things. If that's what you want. It's all what we believe. That's why we have to be careful asking for advice. Yeah, anything that sounds confusing or exhausting, that's your inner being telling you that is not clear for you, right? Someone says something that's confusing, it doesn't mean that that thing that they're saying is bad. It could just be like, that's not clarity for you right now, right? And then someone in a thick New York accent could shout something that sounds really like tough to someone else, but to you, it could click everything into place and be like, oh my God, suddenly I understand. I get it now, you know? So it's just like good, bad, indifferent, doesn't really matter. It just simply is. And are you clear with it? Is it clear for you? Does it make sense for you? If it's confusing to you, throw it out. You're watching New York City street scenes in the background. That's so funny. That's what I picked out. That's what I picked out. And you were the one that said that. That's so funny. See? Entanglement. So, what feels good for you? What feels like clarity for you? What makes sense for you? If a speaker sounds resonant to you, you can listen to them. But if there's something that comes up, like I'll have this sometimes where it'll be like, I'll be listening to something like Bashar is saying, and I'll be like, oh yeah. And then he'll say something else and I'll be like, something in my mind will be like, that's like convoluted, or that's not like the direct way, or like that is a perspective, but that's not one I agree with, right? So like, you don't have to take it. Just because some of the things sound great doesn't mean you have to take all the things. And that applies to me too, guys. When you're hearing me speak, if something resonates and makes things simpler and feel really, really good for you, great. Utilize it. If something I said, you're like, that doesn't feel right to me, that feels too complicated, great. There's probably a simpler way available to you in consciousness that is more simple for you with all the experiences that you have had. And you get to witness that and be like, nah, I'm going to do it this way. Good. I want you to do it your way. Infinite singular perspectives. You do not have to do it the way I do it. But I'm going to redirect you to listening to you, because you are your best teacher. You're like 70% of what he says. Yeah. That's so funny too, because it's like I don't listen to him that much, but I mentioned that and you were like, oh yeah, I like listen to him. So I trust you. So many teachers out there who demand complete allegiance. I think that that's coming from insecurity. My way is the only right way is like, there's so many ways. I was just writing, I think one of the captions I wrote on one of the posts I posted today was like, if what I say is clear for you, then that's like a doorway you can walk through. If what I say or anyone else says is confusing, don't walk through that door. Don't walk through that door. Choose one that feels good. And also it's like, yeah, you can always ask for clarity if something I said sounds confusing. And you can also like within yourself of like, just do a little perspective exploration of like, what could this possibly mean? Like, what could she have meant by that? Let's Let's get a little creative in our own minds first. Let me imagine like 3 different ways that could mean something. Although I have taken myself down that pathway of over exploring sometimes. At the end of the day, pick a pathway that feels good for you. Totally agree. I hate when I listen to someone on this app and they start with, if you want blank, you have to. I don't have to do anything. Manifesting is easy for me. If you ever want to have awards in this lifetime, you have to go into the woods at midnight on the solstice and you have to collect urine from a bear, but it can't be fresh. And then you have to sprinkle it in a circle and spin around 3 times and slap yourself in the belly and say, ho, 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 more for me and none for you. Like, what are we doing here? So, and that to me, I'm just like, that sounds very convoluted. But if that's the mission slip that person found effective for them to finally allow themselves to have what they want, that's fine. I will not be going to collect bear urine. And that's just my personal preference. You're like, yep, that's what I do. I'm happy for you. It was a rough lesson for you. For me, I historically fell into feeling like I had to follow every teaching. Sounds exhausting. Just because someone says something doesn't make it like good. And I will say too, like, even after I manifested my spine, when I like went and I like moved cities and then I was exploring like the spiritual community there was a lot of convoluted bullshit that very obviously was convoluted and bullshit, but I thought we were all aware that it was just like performance and like fun. No, I was like, you just decide and then you have it. All of this is just like unnecessary. But I thought it was just play. But like, no, apparently not. Apparently, like, some people were like, this is a serious thing. And I was like, none of this is all consciousness playing a game. What are we talking about here? You don't have to do that. You don't need to do that to do anything. That's not what manifests. You sprinkling water over something isn't what makes it manifest. I am the consciousness. Whatever. I digress. Anyway. Just because someone says something doesn't mean that it's valid or gold. I have a PhD in blah blah, so you must follow what I say. I have a PhD in dead ass. Hi, Sarah. Half the time it works every time. Half the time bear urine works every time. I love that. That's awesome. Honestly, I needed to hear this. I feel like I have put standards on myself that aren't needed. Yeah, like that's why one of the things that I like having people start with, which is why the Select Your Reality course starts with it, is choosing your rules for reality. My number 1 rule for reality, and I put it in the list that's there. I have you make your own list too, but like there's a list and it says, number 1 is manifesting is so easy for me. That's number 1. Manifesting is so easy for me. I always manifest quickly and easily. My joys manifest automatically. Like, right? How nice is that? Having the joyful things manifest on autopilot? I just be receiving good things all the time. Make it easy for you. Spiritual community gets dark with terms like false light and reptilians. Like, I'm gonna go relax. Oh my God. Okay, so what I noticed is that like a lot of, I will only say one thing about it and then I don't want to talk about this anymore. A lot of the spiritual community never sat with their fear from like whatever religious programming they were brought up in. And then when they found spirituality, immediately they probably had the right idea, feeling the I am that I am, and then diverged immediately into, oh no, all this stuff is really bad and evil, like medicine and all this stuff. And it's like, you know, you are just in a fear state and you're putting like other things on top of it. Because what's underlying that is fear. Like, you know, do I believe that we heal instantly? Yeah, of course. And also, reality is infinite. So there's going to be infinite realities where it's like, yeah, if you take a medicine, you feel healed too. I'm not going to make any of that wrong. what I will say is like, stop perpetuating the fear. Ask yourself, like, am I motivated by fear? Am I moving from fear? Am I condemning something because I'm saying, oh, this is so, the powers that be want us to suffer and be sick. And I'm like, that certainly is a perspective of consciousness that you can filter your life through. But how does that feel for you? Does it feel like shit? Yeah. You know why? Because it's formed of shit. It's literally formed of grossness, and you are putting your consciousness through that. Not me. Thanks. The powers that be. Bitch, you are the power that be. You are the power for your reality. The powers that be. There are powers beyond me that are controlling things. Like, okay, holy moly. Let's pump the brakes there, Batman. Like, what is this? Hey, all doubts kicking my ass, but I'm returning to the state as much as possible. You're already there. You're already in the state. Yeah, the queen said you are returning, never left. Hi, JC. Oh, I love it. I didn't even see what was happening with that person. So good job. Thank you, my beautiful moderators. I adore you. I love it when things get taken care of for me and I don't have to, you know? Those doubts are so silly. Let's laugh at them. Yeah, you're perfect. You're perfect. You're beautiful. You're phenomenal. Everything always works for you. You never left the state of having. You just were looking at something else. It's like you picked a book up off the shelf and opened it and read a line that said, I don't have the thing. And then you were like, oh, wait, this isn't the book I'm reading. And then you close the book and you put it away and then you go about your life because you're like, that ain't me. I'm not going to make myself that line I just read. Repackaged. Yeah, it's repackaged good versus evil. Yeah. That's just exhausting. I just now said I'm manifesting that Rosemary will be live. I love you guys. You're so cute. I love it when people are like, oh my God, I was manifesting for you to be live. And I'm like, well, here I am, baby. Look at us coalescing in this experience of reality. How to stay in that affirm headspace if you're experiencing mood swings, etc. I would recontextualize what affirming is, right? Like, it sounds like you're making it a task instead of recognizing that affirmations are just the thoughts you're thinking. Affirming, choosing to affirm something is choosing a thought, choosing which thought to perpetuate, which thought to believe, which thought to form your reality from, right? If you're witnessing a mood swing, don't make up the rule that affected what you chose. You can say, like, I'm feeling this thing and I still have what I want. I can feel sadness and still have what I want. You are having a human experience. That means you get to witness all the colors of the rainbow. You get to witness all the feelings and stuff. Like, that's okay. Like, if what you're asking though is, I want to feel the way I usually feel when I'm affirming, but I am experiencing mood swings and maybe you don't feel like affirming. What would you do that would feel good? Do you want to dance? Do you want to move? Do you want to swing that mood out by swinging them hips? Like, what is your desire here, right? None of it's wrong. Will you do a rant that this Zofran I took worked wonders for how I feel today? Anything you take works for you. Everything you decide to take works for you. Anything you want to partner with works for you. Every medicine you take works for you. Every thought you have works for you. Everything you say works for you, works for you. It all works perfectly for you. It went into effect immediately. It did wonders for you. You just decide. I don't know what Zofran is, though. It always works for you. Wow, it worked so fast. You actually feel it already. Oh, that's awesome. Because it's you. It's just you. just you swallowing another little piece of yourself, if you think about it. Current reality is an old book. What do you mean by a firm head state? I'm your favorite creator. I'm so happy about that. Am I coming back tonight? I may. I'm going to probably get off soon. Let's see, I've been on for an hour and 20 already. So it's likely I'll be back on tonight. I will be on tomorrow, I think. If I'm on tonight, it'll probably be like later, like after dinner. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not coming back on before dinner, that's for sure. I got A to turn something I disliked into a comic. It lightened things, and then I made a comic of what I wanted. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I like art. I like making art of things, clearly. So, tree. How do you shift to the state of already / always having something? Curious how others do it, because I always just decided everything. I think that this also comes from like, what is a state? You're in a state right now. You're always in a state. I'm in a state of joy. I'm in a state of pleasure. I'm in a state of just being myself, right? What is a state? Anything could be a fucking state. Don't get so caught up on a word that you lose sight of like the actual thing, which is just, I am this. And even before you put the words I am on it, like that presence of awareness of consciousness, right? So, but in an actual example, like shifting to a state when my nose was broken and then unbreaking it in that span of like the however long it took, I say under 90 seconds usually, because I had to relax my body. I had to. I chose to relax my body deeply because I realized that the me that had the healed body was not having the one that had the freaked out body with the broken nose, right? So I breathed deeply, relaxed my body, which, to be clear, I do not expect any of you to be able to do that. This is something that I practiced and cultivated a lot in my life specifically. When I was little, I learned that like monks could like lower their heart rate in one breath and could meditate in one breath. And I was like, well, I'm going to learn to do that. And then I didn't apply it for years and fully like was having panic attacks when I was like in my early 20s. Because the thing is, knowing something doesn't help you until you fucking apply it. You could know something, you could know how to ride a bike, but unless you get on that bike and you actually like take it to Mississippi, you know? Anyway, point is, how do you shift a state? I relaxed my body because I recognized the me with the healthy body, the me with the unbroken nose, was relaxed in her body. So I relaxed my body. And then as I was like, felt into my nose, I witnessed that I was witnessing the image in my head of my nose being broken. Had like a black gash here internally. So then I like shifted the internal image to it's already together. And so I witnessed, and again, this actual part was probably under 30 seconds. I witnessed it in multiple ways of seeing it merge, knowing that like the DNA know everything to do of how to repair. So I witnessed like whatever needed to happen there, inflammation go down, it just be perfect. I also witnessed, I had a thought come up of like, what if like it needs extra calcium or atoms? I was like, well, then they're here right now. So I was literally like, okay, any atoms that needed to be here are here. And I detached completely from the idea. Every time my attention wanted to go to, but what if you're ugly? What if like you don't do it right and then like you wake up tomorrow morning and your nose is just like so gross? And like, what if like, ooh, what if like, you know, you actually like should have gone to a hospital and then you didn't? What if you like get some sort of infection? What if you die? What if you die because you didn't go to the hospital right now? And also, I'm not advising anyone to do what I did or to not go to a hospital if you need to go to a hospital. So like, take care of yourself in whatever way you do. this was my personal experience. This is what I did, okay? I'm not telling you what to do with your life. This is what I did with mine. Disclaimer. So, but I was just like, okay, the me that the nose is perfect, the nose is just perfect. The nose is simply perfect. I don't have to heal anything because it's already healed. So it was like witnessing multiple different things happening at one time. So in the reality where it was broken, it healed instantly. I also witnessed the reality where it was never broken and was actually completely perfect. And I witnessed them at the same time, but the end result was the same, of which nose not broken, nose just perfect, nose actually better than before. And the funniest part was when I was younger, I opened a door into my face and I'd hit my nose in that area and I'd had like a little bone shard. And the week before I got dropped on my face and broke my nose again as an adult, I was like feeling the bone shard and I was like, whatever way this needs to resolve itself, it's going to resolve itself so that I just have like a perfectly like flat nose here. And then I got dropped on my face the next week. And in my head, I was like, well, you did ask for this. And you do know how to resolve this. So time to tune in. I also tuned into the time where before I did the affirming for my body, I'd had a muscle back here tear and slide down, and it had been that way for a couple months. And it was very painful. And I couldn't carry groceries or blah, 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 whatever. So one morning I remember in July waking up, it had torn in April. I woke up and I was like, the night before I'd said, whatever I need to know for this to just heal, for this to just be well, let me know. This was before I knew about conscious manifestation as well. I knew about like energy work and energy healing, but I woke up, got out of bed, and then in that moment, I just realized I was perfect. It was healed. And I felt myself, I drew my energy up from my root and down from the heavens, essentially. And it merged in my body. And as I like was moving the energy in my body, like moving all the muscles, all the rippling from the bottoms of my feet, I felt this muscle slide back up and plug back into my skull. So because I'd had that instant without even intending to, right? That wasn't like a conscious, I just knew I was like perfect in that moment. So I utilized that in that moment of shifting my nose too, of being like, what was happening in my consciousness in that moment? And I applied it through that. So it's like, and I also took the memories of the 3 days where I was choosing my body's always been perfect. And I accelerated that. I also witnessed, and again, this happened all in under 30 seconds. I also witnessed like times I'd gotten paper cuts and then those healed and closed up. I witnessed the mechanism of action of the body in that, and I applied it. So it was like I took all these consciousnesses of that and witnessed the coalescence of it in that moment to do that. So that was shifting from broken, unhealed to healed using whatever consciousness was available, which is, it healed and also it was never broken. What are the best ways to learn from you? Like the best place to start. I have a podcast. That's a free resource if you want a free resource. I also have the Select Your Reality course, which is a course. The Healthy State is the body stuff to teach you how to deeply relax your body and change your mind. I also have videos on my YouTube. I post tons of videos here, but they're not like, there's no like order to them. As I hit 10K, I'm excited to make folders to get like, so people can be like body here, money here, etc. And then I also offer one-on-ones. And then a few times a year, I do like group courses. Yeah. So it's very much like, do you like courses? Do you like podcasts? Do you like one-on-ones? Also, best place to start, it depends on like where are you starting from and what's your intention, right? What do you want? Oh, you blocked JC. What happened? JC has been a follower, person follow me for a really long time, and I've not had a problem, so I don't really know what just happened. How'd you learn that? Which thing? I know you teach relaxation in the Healthy State program. I want to get it. Well, it's on sale for $150 right now, and it's like got more resources than ever. Symptom I have is deep bracing though, so I get agitated by people telling me to relax my muscles. Yeah, I had that too. Like that's literally why I chose to consciously learn to relax my body, was because I recognized I was bracing. And so I like taught myself how to relax deeply on that level. Because it was like, and it took conscious effort to do that, right? Imagine conscious effort to relax. Had to consciously learn to relax so that I wouldn't brace. And then I also noticed too, if I was affirming something and I started bracing in my body, having to relax my body to not brace in that way. I know you teach relaxation in the Healthy State program. I read that. Because my is holding and bracing gets stronger. Is psychic and spirits real if everything is just us? Yes, and it is still just you. Yes, it exists, and everything exists in existence, and it is all one. However, you, as having the conscious singular perspective, get to choose which iteration you want to tune into. So, like, I used to give energy readings quite often. And where I would do is I'd tune into the highest love, wisdom, and joy, right? Because you can tune into anything. So if a reader is like coming with their insecurities and their like, ideas about men or something, and they're reading and they're being like real from that energy, you can tell, you can feel that, because that does not feel like clean, clear energy. Versus of like tuning into, like, I'd like to tune into the highest love, wisdom, and joy. However, I also like haven't done it in a long time, because I asked myself, I was like, what's the point of me doing this if I'm like, but it exists. Everything exists in existence. So I will say with the Select Reality program, there's also a 92 page workbook that I've created to guide you through like selecting your different areas, reminding you how to like, observe your thought patterns, how to detach from emotional programming. Yes, there is a podcast. Also, the thing with like connecting with like spirit and stuff is spirits is like infinite iterations, right? If you're going to connect with an energy, connect with the highest wisdom of it instead of connecting like with an angry frequency of it, because all frequency exists, right? So you could connect with Albert Einstein, you could connect with like the wisest version, or you could connect with a version that's like not great. There's infinite versions of everyone, just like with any person, just like with yourself. You tend to get a lot of readings. How do you feel? Do you, I personally, if you are guided to get a reading, internally you feel a desire to do that, you can have fun with that. However, if you keep getting them, asking yourself like, what, are you using that to self-soothe instead of remembering that you choose the story? I think there's a difference in having an experience versus using something as a crutch, right? Because there are a lot of things where it's like, you can pay to have the experience of having someone tell you exactly what you needed to have told to you at that time. That applies to readers, that applies to coaches, whatever. That's the conscious experience you're having. You're like, I give you this and you give me the clarity I've needed to have shoved in my face. Even if it's like the same clarity you've been telling yourself for weeks and weeks and months anyway, but hearing someone else say it to you and you're finally like, okay, I'm ready to do it now. Thanks, Rachel. You get a lot of readings because that's what your awareness is on. It's real if you believe it. It's fake if you don't. Yeah. Oh, you got the Select Reality class. I love that. Thanks, Rachel. Personally, don't believe it because I'm not going to let cards run my life. Yeah. And you don't have to. And like, I wouldn't let anything run my life except for my like conscious decision at this point. And also it's like, if you want to have fun in that way, you can. But I would very much like, where are you coming from with it? If it's coming from a desperate energy of like, I need answer, I need clarity, I need to regulate myself, is there a better way for you to do that at this time? Or is the podcast very interested in the body relaxation stuff? Yes, it is in the bio. Hi, Sunflower. Just affirm it's easy to shift to my desired reality. Yeah, and you can even affirm it's like, I'm already in my desired reality, right? Take out the whole like middleman of having to shift and just be like, I'm already here. The reality I'm in right now is my desired reality. It's shifted around me. I'm the center point. I have to consciously remind myself to relax when I'm driving. Yeah, right? I got a lot of readings for control and wanting to know the unknown. All things exist in existence. So you choose what to know. You choose that this is the reality you're attuned to. You choose that this is what your experience gets to be. You're even choosing in a moment, like let's say that someone said to you, like you look like blah, 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 whatever. In that moment, you have a choice to respond not caring, respond angry, get sad. That's a choice. It might be an unconscious choice until you're aware of it, but you're choosing. The people who choose to respond with anger are choosing in that moment anger. It's become an autopilot thing usually, but that is a choice. So now you get to do the thing of being like, oh, instead of choosing to respond from anxiety, I'm going to choose to be peaceful and respond from wisdom. I go to one lady once in a while because she feels like a helpful auntie and I just like her. That's sweet. Hi to best. Can I tell you, like, okay, I don't use tarot cards that much for anything. But last night I felt like pulling some cards. And I set the intention of the energy that I wanted to receive. And I pulled exactly those cards. And it was just fun for me. And I giggled for like a while. So it was like, it's very much like, that's also part of why I stopped reading cards a long time ago. Because I started when I was 14. I stopped reading when I would have my hand hovering over a deck and I would know what the card was going to be, right? I was like, this is the High Priestess. This is the Nine of Cups, like whatever. But it was just fun last night that I was like, I felt like going to grab a deck and I love the art on it. And I was like, this is the energy I want to like magnify in my being. So I just like had it, pulled those cards out. And I was like, wow. And looky here. They're already, the gang's all here. But like, again, I'm not using it to tell me what my life is. I tell my life what it is. Just like I told the cards what to be, you know what I mean? Like what are we doing here? And I thought that was very funny too, because I was like, oh, this is like, I don't usually, one of my clients right now like does tarot readings. So I think I was just like, my consciousness was put towards that again. And I was like, I'm gonna have fun with it. What would be a fun thing for me to ask? Or a fun thing for me to be shown? But again, don't use it to tell you what to do. You tell it what to do. You always tell it what to do. And if you look at it that way, like you're always telling it what it is, it's literally, it's reading your energy. It's telling you what the energy of the moment is. It's not a diagnosis on what's going to happen. It's saying this is the energy in this one singular moment that you happen to be in. And you can either agree with it or deny it. You can agree with it and keep going in that like vein of like, this is what it is. Or you could be like, no, that's not what it is. Which is usually if people are using it to self-regulate, it's because they don't believe what they're saying or what anything is saying, which means you get to circle back on self-trust. Trust yourself and learn to fucking relax. Learn to fucking relax. Do you have a pool of core health affirmations? I feel like I've always been healthy, whole, and complete. My body's always been perfect. My body's perfect. My body's always been perfect. I'm always so healthy. I'm 100% healthy. My body's perfect. As I'm walking, I'll like be like, wow, my feet are so perfect. My ankles are perfect. Just because like I feel like blessing up my body and talking to myself sweetly. Like, I'm so perfect. Oh my God, I'm perfect. I'm perfect from the bottoms of my feet to the top of my head. Genuinely, you just stop at the tarot cards. So funny. So stressed for exams, don't feel like studying. How do I bypass this feeling and assume I'll pass? Well, you're really stressed to the point where you don't feel like studying, or you don't feel like you studied a lot. Just assume you knew everything you needed to know. If you feel like studying more, you will. If you're stressed, rest. Do some physical exercise if you feel like you're like have a lot of like built up stress in your body. Watching a tarot reader who predicts the games of my favorite sports teams right now. That's so funny. Do you think much on life numbers or destiny matrix? I do not. The gang's all here. You're paying people to read current energy. Yeah, and it's not even well sometimes, right? Like, who are you paying, right? How do I phrase this in a way? If there's catty bitch energy from the reader already, why would you trust that as a clean energy for your reading, unless that is what you want more of in your life? Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Quiet Rhino. What a name. All right, my darlings. I am going to go now. Select Your Reality is on sale right now. It's got 16 audios, I believe, and a 90-page workbook, which most of it, like, there's a lot of like wonderful statements in it. It's $222 right now. This is the lowest it's been in months, and also it's probably the lowest it's going to be for the rest of the year. But I'm celebrating the Healthy State program. This Healthy State has been available for a year now, and it first came out and it was 2 audios. It's now 8 audios. It's on sale for $150. It's phenomenal. And if you really want to like teach yourself to relax, both courses are great. Both courses have excellent resources in them. This is like what took me from insomnia and stress and panic and anxiety and depression to like the beautiful radiant creature you see before you, right? Who's just so confident. Anyway, so if you want to teach yourself to do that in a way that's like really, really effective and good, I have a background in biology, psychology, so I like using neuroscience. None of it's necessary. All of it's experience. This is a good experience. So have an absolutely beautiful day. And what else? Oh yeah, podcast in the linkies. And also poetry. Poetry books. I'll leave you guys with a poem. Oh, this one, abracadabra. I referred to it before. Abracadabra, if you remember, abracadabra means I create as I speak. Abracadabra is like the Semitic roots it came from. So this is what this poem is. Abracadabra, I create as I speak. Let's spell it out so you gain what you seek. All of the infinite options abound. Come running to when you project your sounds. Speaking spells is easy, truly, even when thy vibe unruly. Manifest means make apparent. Focus thoughts and be transparent. This, your power, is inherent. Attention is your currency, and feeling moves the current, see? When the speaker spaketh words, released to all like flocks of birds, with emotion effervescent and thy vigor ever present, deciding your reality with perception and decree. Accept your doubts to set them free. Believe, have faith, you'll soon perceive. All you've wanted to enjoy, your universe has been employed. That's page 8 in cosmic poetry for the God in you. Because you are the God in you. You know what I mean? Anyway, I wrote this in 2020. It's full of bangers. And this is actually what I like to use, like, not really as like, I call it like a poetic oracle. I'll just flip to a random page and then I'll read something and I'll be like, bars! All of them, bars! And that's in the links with the places with all my other books. So you're wonderful, you're phenomenal, you're beautiful, you're majestic, you're creative. You can do anything you want. You're a stellar, phenomenal being, and you always will be. Have an absolutely beautiful day. If you want to see me for one-on-one stuff, that's available too. Goodbye!